Train is running.
And I'll say Evan.
That's good. You're score, but I don't have to be.
It's a win.
All right, welcome everybody to a new episode of Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. I'm Bobby Finstock. That's Fish Tank Hank. What's up, Hank?
Yo, Bobby, what's going on?
Oh man, not much. It's a nice chilly morning up here in Nashville, Tennessee. So it's been a little off for me, but I'm ready to go, ready to talk Dolphins. How are you down in Orlando, Florida?
I am doing fabtabulous. I started working on a design for my wrap for my car. And I kind of copied. I saw something and I couldn't remember what it was, whether it was a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or what it was. I don't know. I could only see it from the side real quick. And it was totally decked out in Miami Dolphins like a wrap. Except they did a paint job on it. This was an old school one, so they did a paint job on it. And I wanted to copy something like that paint job, not copy it like photocopy it that way, but you know what I mean.
I got you. Well,
so that's
cool,
what I've
yes.
been working on. And the cat, I'm finally calling the cat, and the cat's coming. It's not dug in underneath the counter or something, you know.
That's right. Cheetah Hill
Hey,
the cat.
That's right.
Well,
that is the name of my cat is Tyreek.
Hey, when you talk about fandom, there's no limit with you. From tattoos to cars to cats, you are all on board. So let me thank everybody for watching Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Networks. Whether you're watching on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, smash that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you watching. Got a little bit to talk about today, but we're going to have a lot of fun. Last week, Hank threw down the gauntlet. He threw down the challenge for a mock draft standoff. By the viewer's opinion, I won, so we're going round 2, and Hank is ready to go. He said he has his extra passes. Doesn't miss out on anybody. So before we go, fish about Tyreek Hill, who was our biggest trade acquisition last year when we got him from the Kansas City Chiefs. We've discussed it before. I have said it plenty of times on this show, on the network, that I believe that the Dolphins have a 1 to 2 year window. Okay? I believe that with their current roster this year, they're going all they put all their chips on the table. They've been, despite the trade for Jalen Ramsey, they've been pretty conservative of what they're doing in free agency. They haven't gone out and spent they haven't spent big money. Okay. They've been taking care of their own, and also they're working on Christian Wilkins, but they're also being conservative with their money and filling out the gaps. It tells me that they are ready. They want to make a run for this year. Okay. They're working on their defense, and they say, look, we're committed to Tua this season. We've accepted his option. Next year is a different story if for this year doesn't work out with injuries or whatever. Tyreek comes out on an interview with Sports Radio 810, and he revealed his plans that he wants to retire after his contract with the Dolphins in 2025.
Yeah.
This to me, after saying that Miami Dolphins have a 2-year window, basically, this basically confirms it. Because once Hill retires, unless Miami has, which they have Jalen Waddle, but we don't know, they could add another receiver. Miami could be riding high. If Miami's riding high after 2 years, we're okay. That's a longer window. But if Miami is still trying to find a way to win, they're just missing on the playoffs or just making the playoffs get eliminated, that's a true window. So let me ask you something. First off, do you like that Tyreek has revealed his plans right now at this time, his retirement plans? Or do you think and do you think Miami has a legit shot at making a real run for the Super Bowl this year or next?
I think Tyreek is like anyone out there. He's young. He's at an age where he knows what path he wants to take in life. And fins up, hammer time. He knows what path he wants to take. So he said, yo, this is what I'm looking at doing. And this is what he's thinking. And Tyreek Hill, to me, in my opinion, seems to be a type of guy that says what he thinks and says what he feels. Obviously, I mean, he's made quite a few comments, but he's just trying to be upfront with people, I think. But, what's nice about that is Miami could turn around and draft another Tyreek Hill, though. So I'm not worried about Tyreek Hill, and I don't think Tyreek Hill closes the window. We could go out and get Mims. Mims is almost like a photocopy of Tyreek Hill.
You're talking about the wide receiver, a draft prospect wide receiver. And again, I even said the way the Miami's roster is set up, I believe that any position is an option for the Dolphins at any of those 4 picks. Of course, Miami could trade and move around, gain more picks this year. They could wait and gain picks for next year. But I believe any of these picks, Miami could surprise people and draft a receiver. Look, we're talking about losing Tyreek in 2 to 3 years. The reality is we may lose Cedric Wilson. The Dolphins may trade Cedric Wilson, who they signed to a big deal last year. They may trade him. So they might need a third receiver. All right. So
what's nice is you have a lot of options. And if Cedric Wilson's gone, we all know they'll fill in. They don't mind filling in anywhere. And if they add more speed, forget it. I don't know, man. I just don't. I was a little confused on it last year, and I thought that it was going to be impossible to cover Miami. But then Gesicki'd. You know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't making it work with the team, and you could tell you needed a good tight end with this team, and it was missing. It was definitely missing. He's not a blocking tight end. We all know that. He wasn't holding people back and then getting wide open and making some yak. And I don't know. I'm a little upset about the whole thing. But anyway, Miami is built now to go. But I believe Miami has, people are saying 2-year window. I think Miami has a 4-year window. And I'll tell you why I think they have a 4-year window. It's simple. You have these next 2 years that they are completely loaded. Okay? But then you have a full draft the year after that. They have a full draft. They have one partial draft because they're missing, draft picks this year. You're going to have 2 more drafts where they're going to be full drafts where they'll be able to bring in whoever they think that missing piece, those couple missing pieces are between the draft and free agency. They'll be able to do that. And you have to remember, Miami's not paying a big quarterback like everybody else. You know what I mean? Everybody else is paying the $500 million or whatever they're paying these players nowadays. Miami's not paying anybody like that right now. And if they turn around and they draft somebody next year, if Tua's not the guy, we'll say, okay, say we don't win with Tua. Guess what? They'll replace him. And when they replace him, now they'll put extra pieces around that person too. So I really believe we have a 4-year window. I think you're right as far as this group. We have a 2-year window. I totally agree with you there. we have a 2-year window probably with this group, because then they're going to be separating. But I think Miami's in the right position where they'll be effective for more than just 2 years.
All right. Yes. And that's exactly what I mean. With this group right now, this is a win now team. And with this group, there is a 1 to 2 year window. 1 year for Tua, and that's, that 1 year, 2 year window, that's 1 year with Tua. And, if he goes down again, misses in 5, struggles in December or misses 5 games and ends up missing the playoffs, then Miami has a second year within that 2 year window to go ahead and go get a quarterback, whether through the draft or free agency, to make a run in that second year window while you have Tyreek, while you still have a good roster, because after 2 years, you're going to have to start blowing things up. You're going to have to start moving pieces to gain draft picks. Then
definitely. You're going to play a little bit of chess, but I still think Miami will be effective for years is all I'm
Well, they could, because that's why you want to move these guys, because after 2 years, if you're not winning with these guys, then you say, okay, what can we do to regain draft capital, regain or get a decent roster to compete, but also start building up? And that's when you reset that 2 year window and goes to Fish Tank Hank's 4 year window.
Yes,
Back It Up Bench Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Always, man. He says, yeah, but you step back in progression with a rookie quarterback, unless it's a veteran. 4 years is a bit long. You do. So, but, is there a veteran quarterback? This is the Back It Up Bench Podcast. Is there a veteran quarterback on the horizon? I mean, I guess you could say Lamar next year if that's what you're going, but is there a veteran quarterback that would be available next year? Am I missing someone? Is it a Kirk Cousins? I think he re-signed or he's going to sign an extension. What veteran quarterback can you think of? Or if you're there, Google, let me know, because to me, I think obviously Miami goes.
At the rate it's going, it might be Rodgers available.
Oh God, yeah. Gosh. Well, you know what? Hey, and again, we're kind of following the formula of the Los Angeles Rams, where they had their draft, then they started building through free agency, and they made these big moves, and they made a run. They ran with Jared Goff. It didn't work. Jared Goff is still good. It didn't work. They moved on. They traded for Matt Stafford and won a Super Bowl. So who could be the Dolphins? Matt Stafford, if it's not Tua. But this year it is Tua. Hey, fools. What's up, Rob? Rob's in the house of DolphinsThirsty.com.
Fins up, Thirsty.
So that's the question I'd ask for Back It Up Binge Podcast. I think that if it went that route, if Miami had to go look for another quarterback, I'm not ruling out a rookie quarterback, especially if Mike McDaniel's still the coach. He's going to want his guy, because even though people say Tua's his guy and he's saying Tua's his guy, if he's still on this coaching staff, which again, Stephen Ross is very loyal. What's up, Kat? Yeah. I could see Mike McDaniel saying, okay, let me go get my guy. And that could be maybe, I'm just throwing out there because he has that connection with Miami now since he made those comments. Tyreek is practicing with him in the offseason. Caleb Williams is Southern Cal. There's other guys there, but that's all I'm saying. But this is not really a quarterback thing. But
real
since we are
up for you there, Cap.
Cap always. But since we are talking quarterback, let's segue to our second topic, which is
what
happened? Anything happened?
No, I'm just because we're segueing.
You're segueing. Oh, I apologize. Oh, well,
look,
let's talk about quarterback.
Now we're going to talk about quarterbacks.
Backup quarterback. We're talking about backup quarterback. So the Dolphins, a lot of fans through the season, it showed how important backup quarterback is for the Dolphins. So we were wondering, okay, is Teddy coming back? I hope not. Is Skyler going to be the guy? Some people hoping and praying he could be. Hoping that Miami goes after a veteran backup quarterback. People praying that we went after Rodgers or Brady or Jackson or whatever. And Miami says, we're going to sign Mike White from the Jets. Wait, hold on. What? Mike White? And you have to ask yourself,
who the heck is that?
and the reason why people go, why? It's a backup quarterback. Who cares? Well, we should care in Miami because more than likely he's going to start at one point in the season.
He might.
So he might.
There's a chance.
So let me ask you this quickly before we talk about this next guy. When the Dolphins signed Mike White, how comfortable are you, Hank, as a fan, a season ticket holder, with Mike White being the starting quarterback if Tua goes down for 1 to 2 games? How comfortable are you with him as your quarterback?
I'm comfortable in the team itself, not so much him as a quarterback.
Fair.
I haven't watched a lot of tape on him. All right, so I'm going to be honest with you.
That's okay. Okay.
I haven't looked at tape or anything like that on White because he is just that, a backup quarterback. And it's not like they're paying him millions and millions, big tons of millions to be there. So they could cut him and bring in another backup too.
They could.
Yes, I think that they could, and I think that leads into your next segue.
It does. And let me just say very quick, because Rob put some comments in there. Many folks on the Gibbs bandwagon who started it. Thank you. Do not be surprised if Fins go. I am. I'm 100%.
I'm not on it.
I am. And I said it. And I started. Now it's starting to become more reality. If all we needed was a
running back, I'd definitely jump all over it. It's not like he's not a great talent to have either, though. I've been saying I want a blue chip running back, but I don't think right now Miami is ready for one player to make it over the top. That's why I'm just not. You'd give up too much to get him, is what I'm saying.
Not if he falls to 51.
You think he's going to fall to 51?
There's a lot of noise that he's falling to 51, and if he's there at 51, you go get him. Miami has to. That's my thing. This offseason, I said at the beginning of the offseason, and you could ask Rob and Steve Malloy because I was on Real Talk Fits Up. I want Miami making splashes in the draft and not in free agency. Be conservative free agency, which they have, and make a splash in the draft. And if that splash is trading up and getting a Jahmyr Gibbs, if you have to, or Darnell Washington, I am 100% on board.
It is one of many options, my friend. And
it is.
I'm not saying I just don't think he's going. Me personally, I don't think he'll make it that far, but
I'm not saying no. And I know you're not against it. Truly, you're just saying what where you rather would go. But I know if Jahmyr Gibbs was the pick for the Miami Dolphins, the first one to go buy a jersey is you. Okay.
Yes.
So there's no doubt about it. Or it would be Kelly buying the jersey for you, and you'd get surprised and you haven't. That's what really would go down. But you would have
got this mixed up. She used to make the money. She's retired now. I make the money.
Oh, there you go. But the second point for Rob saying, do not be surprised if Fins go D-line. Exactly what I talked about. Again, Miami has set themselves up where I would not be surprised if D tackle is the first position off the board for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They could go Ika or Dexter from Florida, Ika from Baylor.
And that's the whole thing about this draft. They can do so many things. They're sitting at a great position. People are worried about 51, I mean. And they're sitting right there where everybody wants to trade. Everybody wants that player that's on the board when you get to that point. It's kind of like when you get 3/4 of the way through the first round. Everybody starts getting nuts and making trades, Yeah. So hopefully.
And, let me just say very quick with your point, because I see Rob saying and I know Rob had brought up Mike White before we signed him as a quarterback, a backup quarterback option. So kudos to him because it went down that way. But I will say I love Hank's point because even if you're not a fan of Mike White as your backup quarterback because you got to rely on him being your starter, you could say, hey, look, I may not be comfortable with him as a quarterback, but I'm comfortable with this team to win despite who our quarterback is. And that's
I'm comfortable with him managing it. I'm comfortable with him managing the game and not losing it. Okay. I don't think he's going to come out and light up the board and win you games. I just hope he doesn't lose them.
There you go. And so another backup option is actually a former league MVP who was maybe, I think, the number one overall pick at one point. He was on an interview. He was in an interview and said, hey, look, he's at a point in his career where he's okay being a backup quarterback. And he made a list of backup quarterbacks that he's willing to play behind. And Tua was one of those guys. And this former league MVP was Cam Newton. Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Okay. We all know who Cam Newton is. We know what he's not anymore. He's not that MVP quarterback anymore. Okay. Where do you stand on, should the Dolphins even consider going for a Cam Newton if he is willing on a friendly deal to be your backup quarterback? Would you be willing to go and get Cam Newton, or should the Dolphins consider that in your opinion?
If he's willing to work on a budget that works for the Miami Dolphins, I would have went and got him last week.
Yeah.
How's that? Is
I like
that assurance enough? You put Cam Newton behind that offense with that defense. Look out, people. Man, it's just amazing, the offense right now, how it's ready to just blow up, and it hasn't yet. But they're putting so many pieces into it. And like we all keep seeing, they've put a lot into the offense. It just hasn't worked out. They need to put the right amount of interest and the right amount of abilities on that offensive line already, because it's getting old with that. They say they're fine and this and that, but we all know it's a little flimsy over there on the right side. So, and then that left guard. So I'd like to see them address that, but like I said, right now, if you get another player like you said, like a Washington, that helps that whole line. That helps the whole line, because you now have another lineman. So
yeah. And I see Back It Up Binge podcast and Kat both say no to Newton. I would just say, and Rob, you can chime in there too. But would you rather have Newton coming in at quarterback for a game or two, or would you rather have Mike White?
Yeah,
that's my
no
question.
Kidding.
That's my question. I mean, honestly,
Cam turns the ball over. I'm not going to lie. Cam turns the ball over, but you know what?
Well, there's a reason why he's a backup now. There's a reason why he's where he at. And look, we know the talent that he has. Okay.
Yes.
You're not asked. Go ahead.
I just want to say, Cam Newton, he's a backup, yes, but Cam Newton used to turn the ball over, and the reason Cam Newton used to turn the ball over was because he was trying to do everything for teams that were sucking. Now, as far as the Patriots go, when he went to the Patriots, he couldn't handle whatever it was that Bill Belichick wanted to give him. He couldn't do it. So what?
But that's Bill Belichick. We have Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, and Mike McDaniel makes it friendly for the quarterback. So
friendly and fun.
Exactly. And I think Cam Newton would be a great hire. I think he'd be an awesome hire. You have a feeling everybody thinks Tua is going to go down at some point in time in the season. I don't believe that. He might. Yes, there's a chance, definitely. But say he doesn't. Okay? Then what? See, then it doesn't matter who it is. But for me, if you're sitting at home and you're sitting there going, oh, no way, I'll take Mike White all day over Cam Newton. I don't know where you come from with that. I've got to watch the tape on Mike White, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If you're really saying no Cam Newton, I have to go watch that tape, because you know something that I sure as hell don't.
That's fair. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, one guy's a former league MVP, and yes, he didn't do well in New England, or, he's not the same quarterback. If you're expecting him to be the same guy that he once was, you're dreaming. But there's a reason why Mike White's never been a starting quarterback, okay? And he signed up as a backup quarterback in Miami, and Cam Newton was who he was. So anyway, he was going to be in all the play. Yeah, from your lips to God's ears, Ender. Tua playing all the games.
Up, Ender.
MVP. Love it. Okay, so Rob asked a question, which is awesome, because that is actually what's our last topic before we do our mock draft standoff. So that's pretty funny that Rob brought that up. He's in sync with me in regards of topics. Who would you rather? Let's say the Dolphins are at the 51st overall pick. They have not traded up. They are sitting pretty, waiting for the draft to go to them, and it is going great. Let's say Clemson defensive tackle Brian Breezy is still on the board. Let's say Georgia tight end Darnell Washington, and then Alabama back Jahmyr Gibbs. All premier athletes and at their positions, prospects at their positions, if at that point. If you're sitting there, Fish Tank, and you get a phone call, you're watching the draft, you're freaking out, you're, holy crap. All of a sudden your phone rings. It's Chris Greer. Hank, we've been watching you, man. We saw you on FinStalk today. We want to get your opinion. Who do we take at 51? We got Brian Breezy, Darnell, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Where does Hank go with that pick?
You sure you want me to make that kind of decision there, Mr. Greer? All right, I'll make it.
He probably would.
That tight end. It's got to be that tight end, people would say, right? Add something to the line. Add a talent that can do the same thing a running back can do, and a little bit more down the field when he goes up and gets the ball. You can always get another running back. This draft is loaded with running backs, loaded with them. And if I had to pick between those three, I don't think all three are going to be available at 51. Okay, so let's just say that first.
More than likely not.
But if Darnell Washington's there, I would take him. But it would be hard not to take Gibbs on this one. Gibbs is a premier player and everything else, but all three of them basically are. I'd have to go Darnell Washington all day long.
You know what? I like all three of these players, and I would love any of these positions to be at 51. I really would. I know people are, I guess thought defensive line or defensive tackle is not a sexy position for that pick, especially when you think Miami's strength is defensive line, but who's behind Raekwon Davis? And if you're a player like Brian Breezy's on the board, that's a hard to pass. I mean, that's hard to pass up on.
Yes.
Jahmyr Gibbs, huge fan of what he brings. I compare him to an Alvin Kamara. Can catch, can run, can do it all. But the player I've been banging the table since the beginning, before a lot of people was Darnell Washington, because of what he could bring. Not only I think he could bring as a pass catcher, but if you look at his numbers in Georgia, you go, damn, those aren't sexy, man. He's not a weapon. First of all, look at the offense he was in. Look at the tight end he was behind in Bowers. Look at the weapons that he had to play behind. The dude was set the block, but when his number was called upon, 0, when his number was called upon, he did make big plays. He showed those flashes that he could be a weapon. But What's his strength? Blocking, pass blocking, run blocking. Dolphins need a right tackle. You could go put any right tackle there, but as long as you got Darnell Washington, you said Gesicki, because look, Mike Gesicki, it's not that Gesicki took a step back. It's just he's took a step back in this offense. We don't know what he could do in New England. He might be the next Gronkowski in New England, which would suck for us.
He'll be great in New England.
But he didn't fit with us, okay?
No.
So, but you know who could fit with us? Is Darnell Washington, because he doesn't have to have the ball. He makes plays in other ways. So
that's what I said. When you add him, it's like you're adding another lineman.
That's right.
I like him.
So Darnell Washington is my one. If you're giving me a list, I'm going Darnell Washington. And the reason why, and I put Jahmyr Gibbs number 2, and the reason why is what you said earlier. The truth of the matter is, again, Miami has set themselves up at most positions that they could go any position. But the reality is, the running back situation, even though we are fawning over running backs in this draft, you have Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Gaskin, and Ahmed. Mostert and Wilson both had over 800 yards last year. It's not that they were terrible. The fact of the matter is that Miami did not adjust to the run. They stayed with the passing game. This year, I think Miami will focus on a more balanced offense. We're not going to see the passing clinic that we saw last year with Tyreek and Jalen. I think you're going to see more of a balanced roster, because Miami's going to run, pass, run, pass, run, pass, run. It's going to be a very balanced attack. So
I hope it's pass, and pass.
That's what it was last year. We were 9-8,
but that's because they didn't have the talent. I hope they get the talent and they can do it.
Okay. All right. So let me make sure. Okay.
This team's going to be a nightmare. Imagine adding a Sean Tucker to the background in the backfield with Mostert. Send both of those two out. Pick up Mims. Look out. Catch me if you can.
Hey, from your lips to God's ears. All right, so let me see here.
I got to get as close as I can to this camera.
I'm saying
I can't see who you're putting up, so I'm going to try something else.
See if I get a better window here.
You go ahead and do that, and I'm going to work on getting set up where I can follow this along.
All right, that might be a little better, and I would pop this off. Okay, so again, last week Hank threw down the challenge to me on mock draft standoff. It was his opportunity to see if he could have a better draft than I. We had a lot of fun. Hank made a major trade, got a buttload of draft picks. I think I had one trade. I'm not sure. But anyway, I had less.
I also got 2 picks in the 80s that I took.
That's right. Hank had quantity. I had quality. And it looked like you guys, the viewers, lean more quality over quantity. Hank has said he is determined to win this week. He's prepped, ready to go. Hank, would you like to go first, sir?
Well, it's my turn to go first. You want to watch me beat you again, because I know everybody felt like you picked the big names, and that's why you made it through. But that's all right. It's all right.
All right.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do this time, okay?
All right. So
I'm only going to trade. I'm only going to trade with people that want to trade with me. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
If I don't have a trade offer, I'm not going to do a trade, because my belief is unless there's a number one kingpin sitting there like the 3 people we just mentioned, I'm not ruining my whole draft for anybody else. No way.
Right. So guys, while you are watching, you're watching Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Smash the like and subscribe button. We appreciate you for tuning in. We are having our mock draft stand off. Fish Tank Hank will get the first draft, the first run at this. He put his GM glasses on. He is ready to go. So we are
I just can't see the screen.
We're sitting at 51 Fish Tank and the Las Vegas Raiders. We have 2 trade offers. The Raiders have offered you for pick 51, the 70th overall and the 100th pick. So you gain a pick with this draft and you trade 19 spots down. And then the Cowboys have offered you the 58th overall pick and a 3rd rounder next year for your 51 and 238. Do you want to see what's on the draft board first before considering the trades?
No. I can see what's on the draft board. We have 2 linebackers. You got Drew Sanders and Jack Campbell.
Yes, you do.
And I wouldn't give up a lot for that. Let's counter the Raiders and see what else they have in the bag there.
Okay.
Let's take off 100, and let's try to get 141 and 144. See if they give that up.
So you got 2 extra picks there. So you're going to trade down 19 spots.
Yep.
Pass on linebacker. So let's see what we got here. Sanders still on the board. Let's see here. Slowing down. Well, what's that about?
Well, Sanders isn't on the board, is he?
He's not. But we got pick 70, and the Raiders have come back and say, "Hey, man, we want another trade with you." Okay, so here we go. The Saints
go back to the Raiders because they're desperate now. Let's go back the other way. Oh, that's
so you
nice
trade
right
down
there.
one.
Let's
yeah,
accept that. Let's accept that.
Yeah, you
I'll
trade
take
down
that.
one spot and gain a pick.
I
All
take
right,
that.
You're at now 71. You want to trade with the Patriots?
No.
Okay. All right, Hank, you're making your first pick here. Let's go ahead and look at this very quick. Hank has made a couple trades. Let's look at the draft the draft selections that you have here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you got 7 picks now after 4. So you've gained 3 picks. So
there was nobody.
So who do you got? Your top player
spectacular at 51. There was no reason to pick anybody at 51 because there wasn't anybody there. So I'm going to take the best player available, defensive tackle.
All right, Siaka Ika out of Baylor, D tackle, goes to Miami for Fish Tank at 71 overall. And now we get to pick 84. All right, the Raiders offer the 100th pick and a 4th rounder next year for the 84th and 7th rounder. And then the Cowboys want 84 and 197 for the 90th pick and the 4th rounder for next year.
No.
So reject
them both. Reject them both because there's an offensive tackle that's on the board that you can plug and play anywhere, people. Anywhere. This is a great talent. Pick up Warren. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. You went right to
I know who you're talking about. Warren McClendon plays right tackle for Georgia. Everybody's talking about the other guy. This guy, it may be just as good, but you could put him right in at right tackle and you got your starter.
Huge talent there. And
All
I
right.
can't believe. Oh, look at that! Look who's sitting. Oh, stay there! Come on, Sean Tucker.
Yay! He's still there. Sean Tucker's on the board
There
at
you go.
141. That one's easy. Fish tank
Yeah,
rolls with Sean
boy,
Tucker.
was that ever easy. Whew,
Yeah,
speak that
144
man
now,
now.
fish tank.
We're going linebacker, of course. Look at that. Look
All
who's
right,
sitting
going
there.
with
Dennis.
Servakia Dennis from Pitt. We'll roll that out there. And now at 146.
Ooh, look at that. Again, the second best player available for about the second or third time now. 132. Center.
Going to go center there. So now you've did something different than you did last week. You're going offensive tackle, right tackle with McClendon, and now you went a center. Last week you drafted 2 tight ends to help with that, but this week you're going O-line.
Yep.
Now you're at 197.
197. We're taking that kicker still. Noah.
Noah Ruggles. Okay.
Okay.
$238.
Yeah.
So
And
let's
people are going to say I didn't get a tight end, but that's okay.
That's okay. Let me click on this very quick, Fish Tank, and let's review before your final pick. All right. So Hank made a few trades down. He got defensive tackle out of Baylor, Saiki Ika, who can, again, plug and play.
First round
start
draft
right away.
pick. He's basically a first rounder that I got at 71.
That's right. You got Warren McClendon, offensive tackle out of Georgia. He's another guy who could plug and play. He could start at right tackle.
He would start. He is awesome. He's played both sides of the ball. He could play it all across the line. I love that pick.
You got Sean Tucker at 141. You go running back.
Speed, baby. That's about speed. That's all that is speed. Line him up and with Mozart and have them both go out. Now cover all that. Go ahead. Try to.
And there you go. You go linebacker here with Servakia Dennis out of Pitt.
Yeah, it even has a sweet name. I picked him because he was the second best available on the board.
There you go. And then, of course, at 146, you do go center here, who can back up behind Connor Williams, Alusugun, Aluwatimi. I think I got that right. And then Noah Ruggles, a kicker out of Ohio State, who could compete with Jason Sanders and possibly probably go in this practice squad for 1 year. So far, that's Fish Tank Hank's draft. Again, guys, after both drafts, you could start saying it right now. How you like in Hank's draft, would you do anything differently? But tell us who you think wins at the end. So far, Hank is kicking ass. All right. So,
all right.
Let's go, Hank.
Last but not least, we're going to take a tight end for everybody.
Okay.
There you go. Out of Cincinnati, you know.
Josh Weil. All right.
I didn't leave him out of it. It just didn't make him the premier this time.
And there you go. So there you go, guys. Here's Fish Tank Hank's mock draft. Let me see if I could.
Yeah, read them in week, Bobby. You're going to have a hard time keeping up with that unless you get one of them premier players.
Oh, I'm not worried, Fish Tank. I'm not worried.
I know you're not.
I'm going to come for you. I'm coming for you, brother. All right.
Come get me.
So that was Fish Tanks. I have it saved. We could review it right after. I honestly like my Fish Tanks mock draft. I like how it went. And we'll discuss later how it could have been different. We can look at Wild and things like that, but I think it was very good. So let's go ahead and hit let's draft. I'm good like Fish Tank. I'm waiting for the draft to come to me. I'm not trading up. I'm trading down if I have to, but I'm letting the draft come to me. So as we play this out, let's see here. Guys, you are watching Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. We appreciate you for watching. Smash that like and subscribe button. Who would you pick at 51 with the option that Fish Tank had, or would you have traded down? Drew Sanders was on the board. Jack Campbell, 2 linebackers, both on the board for Fish Tank. Hank traded down anyway. So
I traded down and got Dennis.
Yes, you did. All right, so we have.
Look at that! You're getting the same exact offer I had.
So yes, so we got Jack Campbell is still on the board. The Dolphins have signed 2 linebackers. They got Malik Reed, former Pitt linebacker, former Bronco as well, and they got David Long out of Tennessee. They kept Jerome Baker. But Jack Campbell, if he's still there, which maybe more than likely won't, but we never know, it's a great pick. But I'm going to tell you what. I like what we have at linebacker, and I would jump at Jack
Osiris
Campbell.
is on the board.
I'm going to reject that trade, and I'm not trading down. I'm going with Osiris Torrance, offensive guard.
I like it.
Put him at left guard right now, and you're a golden for Miami. Yes, I see Cody Mock was just there, but that's okay. I'm going Torrance. So we're going to wait for pick 84 here and see what pops up. Let's let this roll out here. Tucker Kraft's still on the board. Well, he's gone. All right, let's see.
You were like, oh boy, like I was with.
Oh boy. All right, so
84 for 87. 84 for 88.
208.
Nah.
So you know what? I'm going to roll with this because there's still some good players on this board, and I'm only going down 4 spots. So I'm going to gain an extra pick in the 7th round. I'm going to accept this. Let's see who's still there. All right, so Giants want me to trade down, and I could trade up for one
spot.
You know, I'm going to trade. I'm going to get 1 pick down. It's interesting. No, I'm not trading with you, and I could trade up a few spots here. Let me look at the board here. I drafted an offensive guard. I'm not gaining any picks, but I am trading up from 238 to 166. You know what?
Kelly Blue.
Let me just make sure.
Kelly was on the board.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take this offer because I see players on the board that I could take at 96. All right. I'm going to reject that. I'm going to reject that. And you know what, Fish Tank? The draft falls in my favor. There's a lot of great players on this board right here, Fish Tank. We got Sam Laporta out of Iowa, can block, can catch. Henry Tutu, linebacker out of Alabama. Israel Abanikanda, running back. All these guys I love. Tyler Scott, we talked about who could replace Tyreek Hill after 2 to 3 years. That's a dude right there. But you know what? I went offensive guard. I'm going to go tight end here. I'm going Sam Laporta. I can't pass that talent up at 95. So I got a tight end and a guard with my first 2 picks, Fish Tank. Let's roll this out. Oh, dang it. All right. Henley fell off the board, but that's okay. All right. So I'm at pick 160 here. I got a guard, I got a tight end. And what's the next available option for me? And I'm not going to pass this up. This guy could have been a starter at any other school he played at, but he played at Texas. He played behind maybe a generational back in Bijan Robinson. I think he's going to be a better pro. I think he has a chance to be a great pro in the NFL, and that's Rashawn Johnson out of Texas. I'm going running back Rashawn Johnson. We have the speed and Raheem Mostert. Now we got the thumper in Johnson. All right, so looking at what we got here, let me make sure. All right, we got 2 more picks on the board. I'm not going to trade anything. I'm going to stay where I'm at. Got a guard, a tight end, a running back. What other position we need? We can look at a tackle here. We could look at an edge rusher or a linebacker, D tackle. I'm going to stick with what I got. I'm going to look at the board. Let me make sure I don't miss on anybody that I like. And I do see someone I like, but I'm going to roll out.
So do I.
I'm going to go.
Quarterback. Did you see that quarterback there?
Darian Thompson Robinson, huh? Oh, there you go. You know what?
I'm going to go. If Miami gets near him and he's on the board, I hope that they take him.
Right? All right, so let's go. I'm actually going to go offensive tackle Jackson Kirkland out of Washington. I'm going to help get some depth on that offensive line.
Definitely.
Go get a right tackle there. I got a starter and offensive guard, and I got a player who could be a depth piece and possibly start if needed. So now we're going down to my final pick. I didn't gain no picks in my draft, but I did move around here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here. Let me see. We got a running back, got a guard. Let me make sure. I did not get a linebacker, but I see a guy I like there, and I see Cam Jones, linebacker out of Indiana. I'm rolling with Cam Jones, Fish Tank. And there you go. That should be it for me. Roll it out.
Roll it out.
Roll it out. So what I like, so let me just say it very quick. Last week, Hank was quantity over quality. He went quantity again, but he also got a lot of quality, in my opinion. But let me go ahead and pull up Hank's. I got Hank's here. Forget. I don't know if you guys could see that. Okay, I could see it though. All right. Put my fish shanks next to mine. All right, so guys, so this is how I went very quick. All right, at 51, I did have Jack Campbell available to me. I stayed at 51, but I went with Osiris Torrance. Miami has done enough on defense to make you think that they could possibly be a top 10 defense next year. They did a lot. They re-signed their tight end. They extended Smythe. They've signed a tight end out of Denver. They could have gone anything at 51, but I went with a guard. They haven't done enough on offensive line. They got
that's a great guard pickup too. That's a great player. I love
Osiris Torrance. Yeah. You could put that guy right at left guard with Armstead and Connor Williams, and you got a great left side right there.
No doubt.
Now, I did trade down. I gained a pick, so I did trade down from 84 to 95, and I was able to acquire Sam Laporta out of Iowa. If that actually went down, Fish Tank, that would be a home run hit for the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's another great pickup. If you're getting him at 95, definitely.
Yeah. So we go down to 160. And, I didn't take a running back again. Miami is right now, if they didn't do anything, they're set at back. Okay. I'm not saying that I'm comfortable with the running backs, but they are set with the backs right now. Doesn't mean they don't draft one. You got Sean Tucker at 141, a quality pick. At a value pick, okay, quality player at a value pick at 141.
He was the best player on the board at the time I picked too. By the way,
absolutely was at 160. I say, okay, let's go ahead and see what we could get there. I see Rashawn Johnson. I think Miami still will draft a running back. The other guy that I liked that was there was Hunter Luque. He plays his position coming into the draft is fullback, but he can play running back. He can play tight end. He can play fullback. He does everything. I like him a lot, but I passed on him in favor for Rashawn Johnson. Why at this point? Rashawn Johnson has less thread on his tires. Okay, this guy could have been a starter anywhere. He played behind one of the best college running backs in history coming in. I believe he could be a quality back coming into this draft. Dolphins get him at 160. Then you go offensive lineman. We need depth. We got Jackson Kirkland out of Washington. And then linebacker, Cam Jones out of Indiana. Now, you guys don't see the picks here, but I'm going to go back with Fish Tank. Hank got Sayaka Ika out of Baylor, defensive tackle. Traded down from 51, passed on Drew Sanders, passed on Jack Campbell. Crazy to think. I passed on Jack Campbell as well for a guard. But let me tell you something. The Dolphins got one of those guys. There's nothing wrong with that. I love them both. I think they'll both be great for this defense. Hank goes in favor for getting more picks because Miami needs more players. He gets a quality guy at Sayaka Ika out of Baylor. Offensive tackle goes with it 84. He stays at 84. Gets Warren McClendon out of Georgia.
Oh,
everyone's talking about his tag team partner.
I really hope Miami picks him at that spot.
I do too.
Oh,
everybody's talking about his tag team partner, but Warren McClendon would be a great pick.
I'd be jumping up and down and running with Tyreek, the cheetah cat in the house. We'd be both doing circles. So
that's right. Hey, if Osiris Torrance or Warren McClendon, I'm happy with either one. Get one of those guys, and we're
Osiris comes up, no doubt, I'd be peeing my pants again.
Oh, that's a good graphic. Sean Tucker for fishing at 141. Servakia Dennis, linebacker at a Pitt at 144. 146 goes with Alusigan Aluwatumi out of Michigan, a center. And it goes kicker at 197, Noah Ruggles, and tight end Josh Ryle, 238 out of Cincinnati. So there's our mock drafts. Again, looking at it, I'm not going to lie to you because I like winning, but I'm not going to lie to you. I call this a draw just because I love Hank. It's quantity, but there's a lot of quality in these picks. So whatever you guys think, let us know who you think won the mock draft standoff. I am okay with losing this week, but I'm going to tell you what, I would say that it is a draw in my opinion, but that's just me. All right. But I'll let you guys decide.
It's a draw?
I would say a draw. I'm not going to lie to you. I like them both. I like them both.
Just about every player I picked was the top player on the board.
On their board. On PFN's board.
on the board that was available to me.
I know. But you see, I was scrolling up and down. I look around. I make sure I do the right thing. But that's just me.
Yeah,
anyway.
I did that too.
But I'm just
what
playing.
do you think? I just sit there and go, oh, that guy. Let me pick him. Come on now. Remember, most of those guys I picked was the second guy available on the board.
Yes, I got you. All right. So let me say, Woodson, man, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Smash that like and subscribe button. Aladino in the house. Hey, better late than never, my brother. Thank you for tuning in. Rob says, great job, guys. Rob, are you playing middleman? Come on, tell us who you think won. You follow the draft as much as I do. Tell me who you think won. Come on, Rob.
Oh, wow. See him pushing you like that, Rob? Don't let him do that to you. Don't let him do that to you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Pick me, Rob. Pick me. Bobby's mean.
Yeah,
all
Rob.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's do the little wink job, right? So, oh my goodness. But hey, guys, let me just say, we don't like to keep you too long. We appreciate you all for tuning in. You're watching Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. We appreciate a smash a like and a follow. Look, he says, "LOL." Rob, who won?
Bobby's so worried about winning, man.
I'm not. I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
Well,
all right.
I don't know. I don't know. You seem awfully uptight about the fact that nobody just started jumping on you this week.
Oh, you see. Oh, I see what you're doing. Same as last week, almost. What does that mean? Same as last week that I won? I'll take it. All right, guys.
Oh, Jesus.
Hank, before we close this out, any final thoughts for you today, my friend?
Yeah, you folks stay safe out there, but party hard, because that's what I'm still doing. And, it's a great day here in Florida. If you're in Florida, get out there, enjoy yourselves, but be safe and love on your kids because they love you.
There you go. I love that. So Rob is coming in. He says, same as last week, Hank had more picks. Bobby with solid picks. So there you go.
Same as last week, like he said.
That's right. Again, if we're noticing a trend here, Hank, and again, I got Hank, I think, had a better draft he had this week than last week. But I have to say, Hank is quantity. I guess you'd say I'm quality.
That's not true, though. Don't say that. Stop saying that.
Why?
The players I picked were very good, great players. So I don't know why you keep saying that. Which player did you not like that I picked? How's that? Which player didn't you like and why not?
Oh, do I have it in front of me? Well, okay. I would say Josh Weil. I think he doesn't fit our offense. I probably went with Brenton Strange with that.
That was 200 and something. It doesn't matter who you
asked me a question.
You going with the 7th rounder out of all of them? All right, Bobby. You're reaching at straws now. You didn't want to hear what I had to say? My 3rd pick or my 4th pick or something, but no, you come out and you're like, oh, well, I don't like the last person you picked. Next week, what I'm going to do after every pick, I'll tell you what I think you could have gone or if I just like that pick. So that way each pick that I liked or disliked. How's that? No. Good? No. Because you are not the say-all on it, Bobby. You're asking the opinion. Your opinion, and I have my opinion. You said, what players did I like? I said, okay, well, if you want that, I'll give it to you next week after every one. I'll say, when you make a pick, I'll go, oh, yeah, Hank, I want you to pick on me next week. Come after me because I'm coming after you. Come at me, bro. I'm coming at you now. All right, guys, that ends it for us today. Thank you all for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and always, most importantly, Dolphin fans, fins up. We'll see you next time. Fins up. Coming at Hank next week. No.